everyone, welcome to another review. I really wanted to get this up the day I saw this video because I've never prepped a review so fast in my life, but the weather has been winter weather. Thank you, Melbourne. So I have not been prepared to risk anaphylaxis in order to sit down and record a review. No, I was living in the fort that I have built on my bed, consisting of my charm blanket, my doona, my hoodie, anything that can give me warmth. That is basically what has happened. But today it is raining outside, but it's a fraction warmer, enough for me to do this review, so I can finally give my thoughts and feelings on Thunder Force, which has been critically panned by virtually everyone, and I'm here to give you a different take. Thunder Force is a 2021 American superhero comedy film written and directed by Ben Falcone. It follows two childhood friends who invent a way to become superheroes in a world where criminals have developed superpowers. When the trailer for this film dropped, I was all over it. I wanted this film practically injected into my brain. Then it dropped, and everywhere I saw people just flat out hating this movie, but mostly that just made me more excited because every McCarthy and Falcone film people have hated, I freaking loved, so this was a great sign. I loved this movie. I laughed from start to finish. I don't mean a chuckle here and there. I was pretty consistently laughing. I'm not a hard person to entertain, but I got the jokes and honestly could relate to most of them. I think the journey of Lydia and Emily is a sweet one. It feels a bit more authentic. They feel like real people in an unreal setting. Emily is the overachiever, laser focused on her ambitions to the point she loses sight of everything else around her, friends and even family. But one does have to admire her determination, intelligence, and the fact her motivation comes from an emotional place, which is the passing of her parents. Lydia is a person who has a good heart and cares about people, but it's overlooked due to her exterior or abrasive demeanor. She's flawed, takes things in stride, and doesn't always think before she acts, which tends to put her at odds with Emily. The two lost touch at a crucial moment in their lives because of their differences, but then find themselves coming together years later and reforming their friendship and learning to embrace each other's differences and to learn from them. They found each other again at the right time. Emily gives Lydia the friend and family she was missing and also gives her life a sense of purpose. Lydia helps Emily to stop and take stock of what's around her, what matters and what she's letting pass her by, and to learn to have more fun with her life. The two are like two halves of a coin, not fully complete without the other. Emily's daughter Tracy is the perfect mediator. She has the intelligence of her mother and the love of fun like Lydia, making her a great way of bridging the gap between the two. I even like Emily being a single mom. She runs a multi-billion-dollar company, discovered breakthrough science, and raised a child on her own. Now that's being a boss. I respect everyone's opinions, but I've noticed some people comparing this to the MCU because this film doesn't take superheroes seriously or because it's not flawless like Endgame. Who said superheroes have to be serious all the time? Look at fucking Suicide Squad or Guardians of the Galaxy or Deadpool. Superheroes can be fun and silly and still have some heart. If you don't see it or it doesn't work for you, totally understandable, but for me, I got this. I think there's a story about women finding their identity, their purpose, and their inner strength, and it's told in the form of a comedy superhero flick. Did every joke land? No. For me, one con I have in Falcone films is that while I may laugh or enjoy a joke, many of the jokes go on for too long. They hit the punchline and then don't stop. They keep dragging it out, which starts to kill the joke, and I don't like that, and this film definitely had that. But up until the overkill, I was laughing. I was just also going, okay, you can stop now, I get it. Female superheroes are still only just becoming more popular on screen, but female superheroes who are over 40 and not a size 2 or immortal so they can stay looking young are pretty much non-existent, and this film being willing to give us that I found so exciting, maybe because I can see myself more in those characters. I'm fat. Not sugarcoating that fact or being harsh, I'm obese and I'm 30 and I'm also really strong despite my size. I can rip out doors, I can pull out tree stumps and lift bags of sand that weigh 6 kilos each one after another and not even break a sweat. I do all these things. But you're not going to see a woman who looks like me ever being a superhero because superheroes have to be thin and buff, and if they're a woman, they typically need to be under 40. Those are just the rules apparently. Maybe some of us like being able to see characters on screen that make us feel like we have more potential than others give us credit for. I know I sure do. I know this film isn't perfect. The wire work in this film made some of the stunts feel overly comical, which I could have lived without, but most of the other stunts and visual effects I thought were great. I think Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy were stupid fun together, bonding over the most insane things. I admit I wasn't feeling him as a miscreant at first because they said those with sociopathic tendencies develop powers, and he was not giving me sociopathic vibes. But then he describes a different type of origin story and calls himself a half-creant. And as weird as that explanation was, at least it was enough of one to make me go, okay, I'll accept that you gave me something I can work with. Pom Klementieff as Laser, I think, had fun moments. I think she should get a chance to play a homicidal psychopath more often. In fact, I think she had more scenes in this film showing off her powers than she does in the MCU, which I thought was rather cool. But to be honest, her comedy and even some of her psychotic attributes felt a bit off, and so I wasn't completely buying what she was selling, but like that she got more airtime. Barbie Cannavale as the King was hit and miss. I've seen him play a villain a few times and he has the stature and demeanor for it, but there's always something off. He never completely sells me on it. I've seen him in comedies and he knows how to deliver a punchline, and I think he nailed most of his, especially scenes pertaining to his henchmen, but when he had to nail comedy while being in full evil killer mode, it just didn't land for me and it felt just off, which was a shame. The heroes and villains of this film, their dynamic and how they interact reminded me so much of some of my favorite superhero films in the 90s. This film for me was like Men in Black meets Mystery Men. Now, in the day, people hated Mystery Men too, and this film and that have a lot in common, so I'm not all that shocked people hate this film, but this was so my jam. This felt new and needed right now, but had a 90s flair that hits my sweet spot just right. But if it was set in the 90s, it would have been the white woman who was running the multi-billion-dollar corporation and the black woman who was the bumbling idiot, so I like that they changed that around at least. The film has interesting ways of tackling social issues all through comedy, and maybe again the delivery wasn't 100% on the mark. The fact any of it was happening and happening to an effortless degree and without depicting stereotypes was honestly appreciated. A black great-grandmother open and accepting of the idea of her kin being a lesbian, that's dope! Single mothers running Fortune 500 companies, women working in the labor force, women running for mayor, children being raised by same-sex parents with no one caring. Now that I loved. I'm sure some people are going to say, ugh, it's so forced. But it's not. Because you can have the exact same moment played with straight parents and it plays out the same way. This was just a scene that asked itself, hang on, straight parents aren't the only types of parents, let's change it up because that's real. It tackles society that shames people for being intelligent. It tries to shut down people using the word nerd in a derogatory manner. It shows people standing up for others and themselves and saying bullying is bad, don't do it. That opening scene of young Lydia shutting down that school bully twice reminded me of the opening scene of Miss Congeniality, where a young Sandra Bullock beats up two bullies, then gets insulted for being a girl and helping someone out. The scenes are very much the same. And if you're gonna say, oh, but she was bullying him back, do keep in mind, the teacher also called her out and gave her detention too. So there you go, bullying didn't win. I respect this isn't for everyone, and I know it has flaws, I know it's not perfect, but I thought this had so much heart and was a lot of fun. I saw the depth others didn't, I felt represented, I felt a kinship with the characters and the story, I felt there was a lot of great messages, and I was entertained as fuck, and after the abysmal TV series I just had to watch this week, I really needed this film. Actually, that was last week. Now, if you've seen it and you didn't like it, that's a shame. But if you haven't seen this film yet, please don't judge it based on the opinions of others. You have a 50-50 chance of liking this, so I encourage you to give it a chance. Maybe you end up hating it, which would be a bummer, but at least then you can judge it off your own feelings and not someone else's. I genuinely had such a great time. It was light and heartfelt and gave me the entertainment and relaxation I desperately needed right now. And if by some miracle they made a sequel, not that they need one, I would totally watch it, but maybe don't make a sequel. Sequels for films like this don't usually work. And there you have my thoughts and feelings on Thunder Force. I loved it to the point I would say that it's one of my favorite films of 2021 so far. And yeah, I haven't actually watched a lot of films this year, but it's the only one where I was completely smiling and entertained from start to finish. I wasn't pausing to play games on my phone. I wasn't stopping and going away and coming back. It didn't feel like a chore to watch it. I was absolutely having such a great time. And I admit there was part of me, I'm just like, oh no, am I gonna hate this like everybody else? But literally the first 2 minutes, I cracked up laughing, and I'm just like, nah, y'all suck. No. I'm like, nah, this shit for me. Like, I was happy. And that's what these films are meant to be. Like, for some reason, people are going on a Ben Falcone or Melissa McCarthy binge at the moment, just all going through their catalog and watching, and it's just post after post. I hate this, I hate this, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. Whereas I watch their films and I'm like, yay, I love it, this is so much fun. It's my humor. It's my humor. Now, so I can watch a comedy and I can also go, oh my god, that was not funny, that was just stupid. And another person can go, that was the funniest thing ever. And then this is the flat out opposite. Everybody's like, this was not funny, none of the jokes landed. And I'm like, that is not how I laugh, by the way. My laugh is a lot different. But anyway, that is it. I don't want to say the words, but I'm going to say them because it's just fair. Comment down below your thoughts on Thunder Force if you've seen it. Be nice. Even if you hated it, doesn't mean we gotta get into some turf war. You know, this isn't freaking West Side Story. Although I'm not against a dance-off. I'm cool with that. We could do that. That should be the new rule for the internet. If any people have polar opposite opinions and cannot get along, they must have a mandatory dance-off. Did I just solve internet discourse? Did I just solve it? Did I fix it? Oh my god! It's never gonna happen, but that would be so cool. Anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, as always, you already saw it on the screen. So thank you to my kick booty patrons. You guys are awesome and I love you. And I'm gonna do some more stuff and I'm gonna go do that stuff. And then I hope to see you in my next video. So until then, bye.